Hawaii and Arizona next up here in this another West Coast affair. Arizona 17.5-point home favorites in this game. The total here sitting at looks like 52 across the board. Totals come down a bit, and I'm a little bit conflicted because Hawaii's offense did not look spectacular against Stanford at home last week. I know they squeaked it out the last second field goal, but I don't think anyone can sit there and say, wow, it was a great performance by Micah Alejado and this Hawaii offense in their first game. We'll see if they can take a step forward here on that side of the football against Arizona. I think when you look at the Wildcats, because when you look at the Wildcats coming into this year, now we remember last year, first of all, Noah Fafita's back at quarterback, but they do lose Tetaroa McMillan, who was just such a dynamic, explosive, big play receiver in the passing game for Arizona. They will miss him to a solid extent. But I think too, because he was not your average great receiver. That guy was targeted a shit ton last year by Noah Fafita. And it seemed like when teams took McMillan away, that passing game just was nowhere close to as efficient. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But it looks like here for Arizona, it's weird because I look at Hawaii as, their offense didn't light it up against Stanford, but their defense was quite solid. Their defense played pretty well against Ben Gulbranson and the Stanford offense last week, bottled them up pretty good. Let's not forget, Stanford only scored 20 points, and one of those points was a gift touchdown where Alejado got sacked in the end zone, and Stanford recovered it for a touchdown. They got a defensive touchdown and still only got 20 points in that game, Stanford. So you really do have to give Hawaii's defense credit. They played a real solid game last week against Stanford. See if they can carry that forward. Meanwhile, their offense wasn't so, and of course that game stayed under. So it kind of makes you think maybe Hawaii might be, at least at the moment, totals-wise, an under team. But Arizona, I want to bet overs because when you look at them, they're going to go through a pretty big-time scheme change on offense. Seth Dagey comes in first season. They are going to play much faster on offense this year compared to last year. So they're kind of a team I want to, target for overs this season. This line should be very good. They went portal heavy, and the O-line looks like it's got a pretty good amount of talent, no question. Ishmael Mahdi is a very good running back, and I think there's other players at receiver that can step up, fill the void of McMillan being gone. I think when you look at the defensive line, or for the defense overall for this Arizona team, they struggled obviously last year at times, and they're going to have to definitely show some improvement this year. They do have 9 starters back, but again, it's a defense with a lot of room for improvement. So it's a tricky totals game. You look at Hawaii last week and the way they played, and you kind of think, geez, I kind of want to bet Hawaii unders. But then you look at the Arizona scheme change, playing faster under Seth Dagey, the new OC, and it makes you think, wow, Arizona, I want to play overs. So it's kind of a conflict here with the total. It's always one of these deals, right? Hawaii's played the game. Arizona's now playing, this game here. So who's got the advantage? But Hawaii away from the island, even getting 17.5 is a little bit tricky for me to trust. The money's poured in on Arizona. I can tell you that 10.5 all the way up to 17.5. But I don't feel overly confident where these teams are at right now. So as of now, I'm going to stay on the sidelines with this one. C-Mac, what do you think? Hawaii, Arizona.
Yeah, is it now maybe enough? Because I thought this when it was lower, like Arizona here, but now over 17.
Yeah.
This team was just total different from the last year. And hopefully they get back to an offense that could get going like you talked about. And I thought was just horrible last year. Hawaii in that game, they moved the ball. They didn't run it as good as I thought they could, and Stanford ran the ball well against Hawaii, in it. So, and one thing, they couldn't finish drives there, Hawaii, in the second half. It just didn't happen.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
14, too much stalling, I thought. But I thought the play calling was I thought they should have took a few more chances. Hawaii, a little bit too much short, dink and dunk type play for them. So I think the moves Arizona you talked about, will the defense be a bunch better? They bring back those 8 or 9 starters. I don't know. I mean, they're at home. I think they win here. It's just, do you want to lay it with them? Maybe their team total gets there. How slow is Hawaii going to play to Arizona? Of course, they want to, you know what I mean? They're a little bit quicker. That kind of look at that in this game.
I'll tell you this, though, struggling at home with Stanford, and you've had all offseason to prepare, and that's a little concerning for me. For Hawaii, but that's what's making me hesitant.
Yeah, well, that's why it's moved. I mean, Stanford still is, Stanford. When you in that game, I think that's why it just didn't move in the end. What we were looking at, that game would be tight.